Hello everyone, my name is Makeda Valletta, also known as the Body Scientist and Queen Lioness. And I am here today to do a video on womb health. For those of you who are not familiar with my work, I'm a nutritionist, I am a fitness specialist, and I've been teaching women a class called Sensual Strength Training for the past 9 years, where I teach women to connect with themselves through dance and working with Yoni eggs or Punani eggs or jade eggs. Um, and so I've been on this path of womb wellness. I'm also a doula and a dancer. And so in this video, I'm going to be talking about ingesting herbs vaginally and medicine vaginally. Okay, I did have a video on here about vaginal health and natural spermicide. That video was deleted because my old YouTube page was deleted and I lost some videos that I didn't have backed up, and that was one of them. So I probably will do that video over because there's so much to get into. This video, I'm really going to focus mostly on intaking medicine vaginally. So I guess it can go into the vaginal health stuff too. So probably a mixture of all of that. Lately, there has been a lot that I've seen on the internet about this thing called Yoni pearls. And they're basically these little pouches of herbs that women insert vaginally to get different, healing medicinal properties from the herbs. Now, there is a long history of women in the world intaking herbs vaginally. Our skin in general naturally just uptake stuff. Like things get into our blood, into our body way easier. Get into our blood way easier from through our skin than from actually ingesting it. Okay, so that's why if we can't put something in your skin, if you can't eat something, you shouldn't put it on your skin, basically. Okay, so everything I put on my skin, I could also eat. Now, with that being said, the muscles in the vaginal canal are even more absorbent. They're super absorbent. They just want to absorb. They want to absorb. So this is why we have to be very conscious about what we put in our vaginal canal. This is why putting like artificial spermicides, that are made in a laboratory, made from chemicals that kill all the bacteria in our vaginal canal and then create an imbalance, and thus opening us up for infections. Check out my video on probiotic and intestinal dysbiosis, and you'll understand more about that bacterial balance, why that's so important for your immune health and your health period. So the artificial spermicides do that. They kill all the bacteria, including the good bacteria. They create an environment for the bad bacteria to be more aggressive and to mutate. And they change the pH, and they just open women up to all types of infections. And then you have like artificial lubricants, what they call water-based lubricants, which are really just water with a bunch of chemicals in it. And if you research the chemicals that are in the lubricants, you'll see that they cause all types of lesions and problems with your uterus, and it's not good, okay? So knowing and understanding that if you can't eat something, it shouldn't be on your skin, then it definitely shouldn't be in your vagina. There are lots of natural ways to cleanse your vagina. Now, there are gynecologists and stuff who say, oh no, the vagina is self-cleansing, you don't have to do anything. That's true to an extent, but even things that are self-cleaning still need assistance and support. We still have to support our immune systems, we still have to clean ourselves. Look, we still take a bath every day, but you can't over-clean, that's true. And you can overdo it. And so I'm a nutritionist. I have a background in biology and biotechnology and nutritional sciences and biochemistry. So I do evaluate things very carefully and employ critical thinking skills. Now, and I'm very much rooted in ancestral traditions, things that have shown to work over several generations. Because someone can do a laboratory study for a few years, you don't really know. But when you see things that have consistently worked for generations and in multiple parts of the world, that's when I see that there's a lot of truth in it, and that's when I really look to study and learn about that. So there is documentation of women doing something which Central Americans call Bajos, or the Koreans have a term for it. I think it's chayuk. I'm not sure. I don't speak Korean, so I'm sorry if I mispronounce it. And you can find them in the Korean bathhouses that are outside of most American cities. And I've heard that Haitian women, I've heard that they do something similar after birth. I'm trying to get more information to find out if they do it in any other time in their life and in their cycles. Also trying to find out what herbs they use. So if anybody has information on that, please feel free to share it below. But the Bajos basically are sitting, or vaginal steaming, Yoni steaming. These are all terms that people are using now. It's sitting over a pot of herbs, different formulated herbs depending on what the woman is dealing with or why she's doing the steam, to help open up everything, cleanse everything, release everything, balance stuff. It's a very effective way to get medicine into our bodies in general, but especially for your reproductive health, because your reproductive organs are right there. It's a very effective way to get medicine into your uterus. And so the steaming I really like because it brings warmth into your womb. And our wombs need to be warm. That's really important. Like nice warm pots, nice warm flower pots. So it brings warmth. The steam opens up the pores to help get the medicine in even more. It has like it makes your whole body hot. And so now you're sweating, like almost like an internal sweat lodge. And the sweating helps to release a lot of things. And so I like that. Now, the Yoni pearls that I'm seeing people speak about, I've seen women say good things about them. I've seen them say that they had pieces of like cysts and stuff be removed. I do know that women have, inserted herbs vaginally, but in my research, I can't find any clear documentation or any people that are still connected to that. So how they did it, how long they did it, and all of that, I don't know. But the Yoni pearls have popped up, and it seems like a bunch of people are selling them, and I'm not sure as to who made the herbal concoctions or where they're getting them from, if they're making them themselves. So if anybody knows, I would love to know that. So it makes sense to uptake medicine that way. I just like the steaming because it's not 2-3 days that you're doing it. It's a shorter time. It's a sacred time where you're forced to sit and focus on only that, and it's warming and stuff like that. So I prefer the steaming, but regardless, getting medicine in vaginally is really important. Different sacred herbs. And also combining it. Holistic health means not just one thing. Holistic health means looking at everything, at all the factors, and working on a bunch of factors to move things out. And so, we have vaginal health, but then we have womb health, and they're connected. But sometimes, they're not they're looked at separate. So I feel like the Yoni pearls is like more vaginal health, even though it can get up into the uterus, and the vaginal muscles are still absorbing the medicine, which can still find its way in different parts of your body. But the steaming really gets up in there in a very good and healing way. But in combination with that, I find, that combining it with castor oil packs and bentonite clay is really effective too, because the bentonite clay helps to creates a negative charge, which helps to pull out positively charged toxins out of our bodies. And the castor oil is really effective at penetrating deeply and releasing adhesions, which can happen from C-sections, from different pelvic infections, adhesions and scar tissue. So the castor oil is really good with that. So you have something pulling out toxins. You have something else penetrating deep and loosening things up. And then you combine that with herbal steaming, which just further softens and warms and gets in there deep. So I find that, and also combine that with womb massage. I find that that's very good combination. And I've been studying a lot of these things with someone named Pakazani from Indigimama. You can find her on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube under Indigimama. I put it below, INDGIEMAMA. She's in Long Beach, California. And we teach a workshop together called Matriz Mística. It's a retreat. We did it in Costa Rica last spring. We'll be doing it in the Bay Area June of this year, 2016. 7 days of learning and working with Yoni egg exercises and meditations, with dancing, Afro-diasporic dancing and drumming, and learning about the various herbs. She's an herbalist, an experienced herbalist. Learning about various herbs and how to consume them correctly, learning about Yoni steams, proper administration, and clay packs and castor oil packs and womb massage, learning how to, find your ovaries. What do they feel like? Where are your fallopian tubes? Where is the uterus? Is it in the right place? So that's what we will be doing our Matriz Mística retreat. Now, so I find that, the very first time I ever did a Yoni steam or a vaginal steam or Bajo was in Costa Rica in 2013. And I used some sacred herbs that were in the Caribbean coast of Costa Rica that you can't find. You can't find them in America or a lot of places. And the times that I've done steams at various times for different reasons, and I have found to be very helpful for what I was using them for. I've always made them myself. Like, there are people who sell herbal bundles, but I feel like it's very personal. I feel like it's spiritual. Working with herbs is spiritual, and it's personalized. So I personally don't tend to gravitate towards a one-size-fits-all type of thing. I've always done it myself, or maybe had input from an herbalist about certain things. So, like, if you're totally confused or clueless about herbs, I would suggest speaking to an herbalist, because, like, I know I'm not an herbalist. I am a nutritionist. They're not the same thing. A lot of herbalists want to give nutrition advice. A lot of nutritionists want to give herbal advice, but they're two different realms. Maybe I'll be an herbalist one day, but right now I'm still very much learning, still very much, it's a gift that, something that somebody can study, but it's also a gift. The true herbalist should be able to communicate with plants. Pankazani from Indigimama is the truth. She is someone who I would recommend to anyone. And people know I'm picky about practitioners. But, herbs work synergistically, just like cancer-causing toxins work synergistically, meaning that it's not one thing that causes cancer usually. Usually it's a bunch of factors. And these multiple carcinogens work together to then mutate your genes and cause cancer. So the same thing is true in the healing process. Like, you want to have a balance. You want to have some herbs that help to cleanse things out. You want to have some herbs that support your liver. You want to have some herbs that open. You might want to have some herbs that close, depending on what you're using it for. You want to have herbs that strengthen and tighten. So just having a variety of herbs that are good for different things and understanding them, and how to prepare them properly. Because also with Yoni steams, like, there's a general way that people tend to talk about doing them, but it also depends on the herbs you use. Because I know, like, when I was in Costa Rica the first time I did it, there were certain herbs I used that had to be prepared a certain way. And so that's why when you start getting into that, it's good to work with people who know about herbs. And so it's something, I'm in New Orleans now, a very spiritual place, where I just hear stuff, like my ancestors' messages so clearly, more than I do anywhere. And so the past couple of days I've been, working on myself, warming my womb, all the things I just mentioned, the clay, the castor oil packs, the Yoni steaming. I've been dancing, working with my eggs, just massaging my womb, really taking the time to work on myself and work on all of those things, because it's important. And when you're done with this, the steaming, the other thing is I like to do, sometimes it's not possible because you might be somewhere where you just can't do this, but I like to go into nature and release that water and the herbs from my bajo, like either in a tree or take it to the river or something, just, releasing that back with prayer. Preparing the herbs, it's all about you being connected, speaking to them, communicating, being connected, so I find that really important. Not to say that you can't get mixtures from people that might be effective and great, But I do feel like it's very personal, and there's no reason why you can't do it yourself. It's good to take that time to listen to the messages and study and learn, because that's how you learn about herbs and learn about things. But at the same time, you want to be cautious because you don't want to do things that are contraindicated or might cause problems. So if you're not really that knowledgeable about herbs, it could be good to speak to someone who is. And Yoni steams don't need to be done super frequently. Like just for general regular health, just to maintain, a few times a year is fine. When women are dealing with different health issues, there are different prescriptions for that. And I'm not going to get into that right now. I do suggest checking out the workshops that Pakazani and I will be teaching. Check out her work for sure, because this is something that she grew up doing. So that's also why I trust her as a teacher, because this is not like book knowledge for her. It's something that has been in her family for generations. And so finding those things is really important. And I just wanted to make a short video, not a 25-minute video this time. So this is just a quick video, just bringing awareness to the vaginal intake of herbs in medicine, and that is very beneficial. I happen to have an affinity for the steaming. If anybody has more information on the Yoni pearls that are out now and those traditions, anything documented, anything, please pass it on. I would love to know, because sharing is caring, and that's how we learn. So I hope you found this video helpful, and if you did, please subscribe to my YouTube page, because my other one was deleted, had like 10,000 followers. So please subscribe and share the video. Okay, thanks people. Have a great day. Bye. Oh, one more thing. Men can also do it too, and I'll do a video about that later. Bye guys.